Hey everybody, welcome to Voices Randomish. I'm your host, Eldridge J. Alexander, and tonight we have a really great story for you. So I want you to get yourself to have a sip and a seat and relax because we are going to have a conversation that is unparalleled. I can't wait. I am your host here with my co-host Gail B, and we're going to be talking about some of the things that are going on in social media right now. And I don't know about you, Gail, but I'm really excited to get this conversation started. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I got me a bottle of water tonight because it's been a crazy week. I don't know about you, but it snowed where I am here in the Midwest today. So coming in from making sure that I don't kill myself, because in my driveway, I wanted to go out, but I have this deal where my neighbor comes out and does the snow blowing, so I really don't have to do it. So how about you? What's going on in your area tonight?
Well, I got my rowboat out because we have getting some torrential rain down here in this south weather, and I'm just trying to stay in the house and stay warm.
Where you at?
I'm down here in the Charlotte, North Carolina, the Kakalakis and the 704, and it is wet down here.
If you say the Kakalakis.
Right.
Woo! Well, I'm just glad to be, like they used to say in church, I'm glad to be in service tonight. And for those of you out there who just joined us, we appreciate you. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for joining tonight on Voices Randomish. If you are someone who is already a subscriber, thank you so much for your loyalty. Make sure you go on and hit that bell so that you know when we upload or we go live. Right now, we're finna really get into this discussion. We got two hot topics we really want to talk to you tonight about. The first one is about the pay inequity, You know what I'm saying? The pay equity inequity. So, Gail, I know real quick, I had done a little bit of some research on some things that were happening as far as pay equity inequities is like what I like to call it. And for the most part, I was just really shocked at some of the statistics that are out there, which I'm going to share really quick. I wanted to just share real quick. I'm going to give you a quick high level overview of what I saw, and then I want you to weigh on what you probably already know. Being a subject matter expert, someone who's worked in HR for several years, and me being on the HR side in the diversity area, I can see how this connects both of us. So first of all, for those of you out there may not be thinking about what the pay equity gap is, the pay equity gap, and this is really important for us to discuss this because according to Forbes, women in general earn 17% less than men on average in 2022. And the gender gap is even greater for women of color. They said that African American women earn just 60 cents and Latinos earns 55 cents for every dollar earned by white non-Hispanic men. So one of the things that happened is Taraji P. Henson, she had come out and she had spoke about how the pay inequities really show up in places like Hollywood. So she talked in a 2020 interview with Jamel Hill, and she shared her experience with pay inequity and how Tyler Perry helped her, so how she was paid. So Gail, what did you notice about that? I'm gonna mute something in the background while you share with our studio audience what you found out about this whole pay inequity thing as it comes to Taraji P. Henson.
Yeah, so in another interview with the Real Daytime, Taraji Henson revealed that she was paid $150,000 for the role of the Curious Case of Benjamin Button, while her co-host or co-star Brad Pitt and Kat Blanchard were paid millions. Now, we talk about what is the millions of white men in Hollywood and an African American female in Hollywood, $150,000 when these movies are grossing $100 million. Well, that is really a pay disparity, and that's that equity gap right there. And then also to another note of that, we talk about Mo'Nique talked about that on the Breakfast Club. I do believe, if I have my dates correct, I want to say she did that in 2018, where she was very vocal about the pay inequity in Hollywood. And she did an interview with Don Lemon and explained that Black women face the issues they face in Hollywood And then even in 2022, she accused Netflix of systematically underpaying Black women and cited racial and sexual discriminations as reasons for these actions. So these are two A-lister Hollywood women who have worked on blockbuster movies who were saying that they were not paid as much as their counterparts.
You know, the crazy thing about this is that how this has manifested itself not only in the entertainment industry, but if you think about they're saying that if Black women particularly are only paid, 60 cents for every dollar. And think about this statistic. If 73% of Black households are headed by Black women, that means that we're the main source of income in our families. And if we're receiving only 60 cents on the dollar, that means that we already are going to have a disadvantage, right, when it comes to being able to purchase homes, to be able to have a livelihood to send your children to certain types of schools, to be able to afford the type of lifestyle, because you're not even making the type of money that you need to have it. And so there's a trickle down effect from what I can see it. And so it's in every single industry. And you know what, the thing that strikes me is when I saw this data, I believe early, it was like 1995, I was working over at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and I was in the diversity and equity services department. And this is how this stuff all connects now, and it just blows my mind how nothing has really changed. So when I first looked at it, even in the 80s, when I was doing research on the gender pay gaps, when I came into the 90s, Gail, I was super shocked because it was like, you have like this rose-colored glasses on. I don't know why, but for some reason, we think when we're there in the room because we got in the room that things have changed. But this type of data, when you go and pull up data from 2022 and see that men are still earning way more income than women on general, that women are earning only 83% white women. If you think about it, if they're earning 17% than their counterparts, white men on average in 2022, that means they're earning for every dollar that white men get, white women are getting 83 cents of a dollar. That means that we're getting 60 cents on every dollar. And that means that Latinos and Hispanics and Latinx people are getting 55 cents for every dollar. And if you look at inflation and stuff now, and you think about how inflation is 150 to 200% of every dollar, but you only getting 60% of that dollar. If people really do the math, then you understand why there's people that are having housing concerns, food concerns, all other types of concerns. And what really bothers me is the fact that they want to try and, like I said, see it through rose-colored glasses when they say stuff like food insecurity, when really it's people that are suffering because they cannot make enough money to buy food, because you're only making 60 cents for every dollar, but it's costing you 150% of every dollar to buy anything, transportation, you think about gas and all those things. So this is why, for me, I think that this is so much of a bigger issue. The fact that Taraji P. Henson is somebody that now people are listening to, because I've been seeing this and experiencing this in my 52-year career. And I'm sure that you as a HR professional have not only experienced it, but you've seen other people experience it because you work in that area.
Yes, I've experienced it and I've seen it, especially when you're looking at salaries, and even when I'm working on executive positions or even just director positions, of what they'll pay a male as of what they'll pay as opposed to paying a female. I've seen it where they'll pay somebody 110,000 if they're a male, and if they're a female, they'll offer them 90,000, and then they won't even budge with it. So that's totally, and that individual that may bring just as much to the table, if not more, but they're not being considered the same when it comes down to offering those salaries.
And I suspect that even though people don't want to talk about it being the person that's thinking about justice, is that there's a piece of this unconscious bias that steeps in. Because I want you to think about this, that they're thinking, oh, he's got a family or they have children to take it. Well, especially a younger woman that's entering the workforce. Oh, you're young, you can get married. You know what I mean? All of those stereotypes probably still play in. As a matter of fact, I won't say probably, I would say that there's evidence that by the pay disparity, that those stereotypes really do pay in. And this is why, for anybody out there that's watching that data, when you really want to present a case on why something needs to be changed, it's the data. Because if Black women are 73 to 78% of the household and they're only getting 60% of the money, that explains to you why we cannot garner any type of legacy or type of generational wealth, because we simply don't have the disposable income, quote, in bullet points, or asterisk, all highlighted, underlined, bolded, disposable income. What income do you know of that we're disposing of? Because we know that for the most part, 35 to 40% of what you make is going to go to the housing. And so therefore, if you already started at a disadvantage, it's like somebody going out to golf and you already got, that person got this real big advantage because whatever handicap they got,
Right.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so for me,
I'm sorry, you
go
make a
ahead. No,
great
go
point
ahead.
with that, because, as you know, we get paid in whatever the salary that we bring home. 9 times out of 10, it has to cover the whole spread. And if you really do statistically, a person who is paydays, which is maybe every other Friday, by that Wednesday or even by that Monday, they might be down to their last $10. And that makes a difference. So we definitely, there is a equity gap, a pay equity gap there across the board, and it's reaching now. It used to reach African Americans, but it's now reaching Caucasians as well, because now they're feeling a little bit of the burn and understand I want to say our struggles, but our challenges with being able to feed our families and educate our children.
Well, the thing about it is that people forgot that the transportation company, the food man, the people that do food, the people that do gas, that do retail, what I think that people forget is that there is a correlation between when you raise people's pay or their salary and then the price you're going to pay for goods and services for. So that's just a fact. And if people don't understand that, you're not going to be making 15, 20, $25 an hour in that business, start charging more for the goods and services, because where you think the money is going to come from, they're not going to eat into their profit margin, right? So and if you think about the person that runs the business, they still have to pay operational expenses, and the number one operational expense is the cost of labor. So you got the
There you go.
cost of labor, and then you got the cost of operations of the utilities that it takes to run the operation and manufacture the good. But for somebody that's a actor or an actress, that person's livelihood, just like a sports figure or any other entertainment, all of it is enveloped in their body. And when you give somebody $150,000 for an Oscar nominated role, you literally are smacking that person in the face and telling them of the value that their body holds. It's all enveloped in the dollars that they get. So when you pay Taraji P. Henson $150,000 for a role, or you pay Mo'Nique less than that for a role, you're sending a message to women, Black women in Hollywood, that you're not worth anything, especially when you give like $3 or $4 million to your Meryl Streeps, your Kate Blanchetts, your Jennifer Lawrence, your Jennifer Aniston, your Julia Roberts, that they can walk into a movie and really just smile, and their movies, and they get what someone says the value of that particular body is. Don't people get that? This is about them saying that body, the brown bodies, the Black bodies, the Latino bodies, they ain't worth it. Are you surprised the fact that Jennifer Lopez can garner the type of money that she can garner in films, because she's the only one and it will really stick out? But because Taraji is among other actresses now, Black actresses, Viola Davis, right? Your Kerry Washingtons, your Angela Bassett's, it's kind of like they can push it down and say, well, at least you was in an Oscar. You were nominated for an Oscar. So now there's that kind of halo effect where everybody thinks, oh, she's getting paid big bucks because, Meryl Streep, people automatically put you in there. But what they forget is that particular body didn't get that money. It didn't, whatever the reasons are for it, whatever the reasons are, you have to look at the pattern. And that's what I tell everybody about the reason why we do this show, is because I want people to look at the patterns of what you see and who's getting what and who's not getting what. And that's what I saw. So sorry about that, Gail, but that was just kind of what I
That was
saw when
great
I went
information. It
through
was
it.
great information. I'm glad you shared it because it had to be said. And you're driving that point home that our value, they don't value us. We're not valued. We're not looked at and will never be looked at the same as our counterparts. It doesn't matter. It's twofold. Even in the world of HR, just in the world of working, we have to have multiple degrees. We have to be have so many MDs, MPAs, MBAs, all this behind our names just to even be considered for interview. So while we will never be compared, it baffles me.
And the thing is that like you said, you ain't even lying. You hit the nail on the head because I had this discussion with a CEO at one time, a very high-ranking CEO that is now gone on into politics. And when I was going in to talk to her after the situation that happened with the women at Wells Fargo, when they said that the reason why they didn't promote any women is because they didn't have enough intelligent women of color, and those 7 women walked. I was like, you don't want to be Wells Fargo. You have Do you realize that Black women are 73% head of households and that we bring in the bulk of the income, and therefore we're the most loyal people that you have, and that we will uphold your business because we realize that your livelihood is our livelihood, whereas our white female counterparts, they got an alternative. It's another white man waiting somewhere that's going to take care of them. But we know that not only our Black men are not here in corporate America, but most of them may be in places where we have to do things to take care of them. They may be the person that's the stay-at-home father because of the fact that they couldn't even get in the door. And it may not have had anything to do with their education, because of what you said, Gail, with 2 master's degrees, a mediation certification. I have so many certifications you wouldn't believe it, and I swear I can't tell you how many times I went to apply for roles in operations and other areas of the companies in my 52-year career, where I was moving laterally, and somebody said to me, "Oh, if you only had this." It's like, are you kidding me? And then you find out some little young person that somebody knew, somebody's daughter, came in, and then you start talking to the person and they tell you that oh, I just got my associate's degree. And it's an underwater basket weaving. Meantime, you don't bust your ass and spent 200 or some $1,000 and still got you don't paid that amount. That's the part you paid out of pocket, working blood, sweat, tears, plus your 60,000 in loans. So you done spent 300 and some thousand on your education. And they come and tell you you need one more thing, and you find out this person came in the door with an associate's degree, and then they wonder why people are snapping on the job.
Or
I
not even
mean,
so much snapping. I would tell you that that's why people don't want to go to work.
mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother topic. Why are people not wanting to go to work? Because they don't feel their self-worth. It's like, well, you're not valuing me. I know what I could bring to the table. So you mean to tell me I have all these credentials, and you go and you hire someone who don't even have a clue how to even roll out a project, or even be statistic, or be have a clear understanding of what it takes to run the business. We'll never win. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's
Wow.
very challenging. It's where I live here in the Carolinas. I'm sure it's right there where you live at. It's across the United States. I mean, this is something that we deal with day in and day out. But because we, as you said, a point, we are women first and foremost, and something that we have that's different. We're built different. We're built different. We're going to make it work. We're going to stretch that dime, and we're going to definitely make sure that we hold up our whole house on our bodies,
Yep.
our minds, and our souls. That's the difference. So when you sit down and think about that, yeah, they could really not pay us, but at the same time, they can't steal us as a body.
But they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And think about this. If they know that, okay, they men can't get, we ain't letting them in here, right? So they the ones that's got to come in here. They're the household breadwinners. If we don't give them as much money, they got to keep coming back. They got to keep coming back because of all the things that you said. They are loyal and they want to take care of their household. So we got them. And one of the things that I see that's going on in society right now, the reason why they pull the money on that one venture capital group that Keisha Knight Pulliam and some other A-listers were sponsoring was because they know exactly that we're the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. And it goes back to, no, y'all will work your asses off and have carry the load for your family. We really need that type of loyalty. We need those type of workhorses. We need the help. If you think about it, they want us to not use our head. They really want us to be domestic laborers like we were in the movie The Help. And this is why they pull the funding, because all that data that came out and said Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. They said, oh, hell no. If they, who we gonna get? See, that's the nasty, dirty secret that a lot of employers don't want to admit. They know damn well that Black women are the strength and the backbone of their business because we don't really have a choice at this point. We're not Cinderella. We can't really go look for a Prince Charming to come and take us away to anything because the only thing Prince Charming gonna show up in our world with is dirty ass laundry and he got a hand because he needs some food and what else too. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole difference. And I said, and the thing is the resilience gene is what I want to say before we move on to our next segment. Ask these 3 questions of our audience out there. We got some questions for y'all out there to answer at some point in the community. You can go on and answer that, Gail, and I'll just quick do what our thoughts are about it. And then we're going to transition over. But I'm telling you, the reason for the pay equity inequity is really because it goes all the way back to them wanting us to be the help. That's literally what it's about. So you put systems in place that consistently remove any support that the Black woman has, especially the Black man. If I take him out your household and you can have things from me as a system, Claudine, the movie, right? If you don't have a man in your house, I know you're going to be loyal to me because, again, you got to take care of your family. See, this is why I don't advocate for us having children. I don't, because it's a trap. It literally is. And that's my whole thing. It's like, they know that they got you. They know they got you as soon as, because the first thing somebody going to say is, I got to feed my kids. But when it's just you, you can say KMA. And you know what KMA stand for, right? Kiss my ass. And you can hold up a big KMA sign and walk away and turn away. And this is why they don't want us to be educated and don't want us to be, because once we know better, we do better, we resilient. And once we know that we have a skill and a thing that we can sell, whether it be braiding hair, whether it be teaching you how to go out and talk slang so you don't get your ass kicked in the wrong neighborhood, you know, English as a second language is what I'm talking about. We
The
have all things.
Ebonics.
Hell yeah, we got things at our disposal. All right, let's ask our audience these questions, Gil, and we'll wrap up and we're going to move on to the hot topic of the week. Girl, let me tell you, why do you think
I'm
nobody
telling you.
listened to Mo'Nique when she was talking, right? And why do you think they listened to Taraji? Because I think the two are connected, but they're from 2 different dialectics. Why do you think?
So I think if I had to say, this is just GB's feedback on it. Mo'Nique, if they looked at Mo'Nique's size, they looked at her skin color, and I think that they looked at the fact that her deliverable, how she delivered her pay inequity. You know, saying, "Hey, I did XYZ movies, and I was only paid this amount of money." Now, my counterparts, as you called them out, a Julia Roberts to a Meryl Streep, to all of these ladies who are at the drop of the hat, they're paying them, $20 million as opposed to paying me $500,000, maybe $1 million. The landscape is kind of it's skewed. It's skewed. Then why did they listen to Taraji? I think because Taraji had a backing. Okay, she was presented, I want to say, by his last name was Singleton. I can't think of his first name. He passed
Oh,
away.
John Singleton.
Yes.
Oh
if
yeah, and Baby
if
Boy
she
from John
yes.
Singleton, that
So
audience,
she
yeah.
started out, if my memory serves me correctly, she started in some of his movies.
Yeah,
She
Baby
may have
Boy was
started
the
in some
first one.
earlier movies as well, but I think she kind
Yep.
of got her start there. Then she got her
Yeah.
footing in with Tyler Perry. So she is really connected and has her grassroots around her. So I think that that's why they listened to Taraji. When Mo'Nique spoke it, she didn't have the backing that I think that Taraji had. They just didn't really want to tilt the kettle with these other individuals that were heavy hitters in Hollywood. Who wants Tyler? Number one, Tyler Perry snuck up on him and said, "Boo, I'm here." They didn't see him coming. Now he's the biggest man in Hollywood. Who wants to really go against him? Now, who is Tyler Perry's friend? Oprah Winfrey. So who wants to really get into that lines then? She has a dotted line. She got the red hotline phone to these individuals. So when she sat down and shared how much she was making and she dropped that tear, you better believe they listened.
You know something? I listened to another podcaster out there. I'm gonna give him props. Funky Dineva from over at TGIF, and he also has his own show. And he came from a different perspective in this, and I kind of echo what he said because of the type of stuff that I do to research. So y'all just hang in here with me, rock with me on this. Funky Dineva said it came down to two things: likability and colorism. I want to add a third thing. I say size of the body. Now, there's been studies, and if you can go back and you can watch them when John Stossel does these things, when he pulls people over the side of the road, and you think about the person that they stop for on the side of the road and the person that they don't stop for the side of the road, what type of bodies. You've also seen the girl in the fat suit in the grocery store drop her groceries, and then the skinny girl in the grocery store drop her groceries, and who stops to help and pick. See, some of the stuff with discrimination and unconscious bias goes deeper than people even know it. Mo'Nique is a big girl. Let's just put it out there. And big bodies
Right.
are not treated the same way and as other bodies. And there is a gentleman, I believe his name is spelled Kiese Layman, and he did a book and it's called Heavy. And he talks about all of the weights that are on the big bodies in society. And this is why I always like to have these conversations, because I come to the table and I want to bring you a different perspective, a different lens through which I want you to look at this conversation. Mo'Nique is a big woman. Big girls. I remember that my stepson, before he passed away, he was saying to my stepdaughter, he said, "You're a big girl. You're going to end up having to pay your way through life." See,
Okay.
when
Okay.
the bigger the body, the bigger the tax. And John Stossel and all of these theorists have proved that when they've done these things on what would you do. If you ever go back and look at what would you do, you can find these videos. You can look up where the fat girl in the grocery store, skinny fat suit, you can put any of that. You can Google it and the videos will come up and it will show you where they show you where the same woman puts on a fat suit and in the grocery store, if she drops her groceries, no one's stopping to help her. They laugh. But when she takes off the fat student, it's the cute, blonde, Cupid doll looking girl. It's like everybody under the sun goes to her rescue. It's the same thing when the person was on the side of the road and their car broke down. They didn't necessarily stop for people of color, brunettes, but the blonde chick, the cute person is always, I saw it when I was in school. I saw girls that was dumb as a piece of toast, but because they was cute, they got every single thing that they wanted. You can look at certain, I remember Carly, what's her name, Cardi B, on one episode of Love and Hip Hop in New York. She was saying something, and the guy said, "Well, why should I give it to you, and give you the studio time or whatever it was?" She said, "Because I'm cute," and that kind of resonates. And she's very cute. And if you think about it, Mo'Nique, while she's an attractive woman, she's not an attractive like a Taraji P. Henson. You even look at the different types of roles that Taraji could garner versus a Mo'Nique could get. What type of body they're in. Sherry Shepherd will tell you that there were certain actors that when she was in movies that where she was cast by Tyler Perry, Sherry Shepherd. Now you know who she is. She was
Right.
cast as the mother where Taraji was cast as the love interest. It's different bodies can say different things and get different reactions. And sometimes it's due to colorism, but sometimes it's due to your weight. So I just want to put that out there. It's a heavy thing to try to swallow. Thank you, Kiese Layman, for writing that book. But he's right. Being a big black male, like the guy in The Blind Side, think about it. People
Right.
took pity on him as opposed to seeing he could never be who he really wanted to be. a strong Black man, because that particular body shape and trope is something that will be portrayed as something that's menacing and to be feared. The same thing as with Mo'Nique. Something, she's a big Black angry woman. Shut her down. Stop listening to her. Whereas Taraji is more soft and she cried, and she's a little more of a delicate flower. You think about their body size and their shape and all that. So that's kind of where I really wanted to come from. And I like that what Funky said, because he said it comes down to likability. It was easy for people to like Taraji. She was the underdog in Baby Boy, and we saw how she was treated by Snoop Dogg when he came in the house, and how they took over her apartment and stuff, and how Jody how she still loved him even though she was young. You know, she was 17 years old when she made that movie.
Oh, I
So
did not know that.
yeah, so to show that type of love. Now, the only thing most people remember about Mo'Nique is they'll remember her as the pushy, harassing Black student mama on the Parkers.
Right,
And you
right.
shudder at some of the things she did. Like, damn, that was bordering on sexual harassment. She's a stalker. That's the image that they have of her. It's a different image than people have of Taraji P. Henson. So I don't want people to get it twisted. That's the reason why people could actually listen and look at Taraji, because it's all about what you look like in that body. It's a different type of a body. Really.
It makes it's you have hit the nail on the head, and I tell you, you have gave me some insight on that. Great point.
I know a lot of times people say, where the hell is she going with that stuff? It's like, yo, I connect the dots all day long. All right, so y'all, we gonna wrap up our discussion this weekend. I don't know about y'all, but I think that Club Shay Shay probably is at 20 million views right now, because when I was watching it, it was 14 million, and then I clicked back on to go back and rewind and watch a couple things the next day. It was at 16 million views on Sunday morning. So I watched the entire interview. I rewound, fast forward, pause, start, stop, and continue. I did it all. I even went back and did some other research, because I was thinking about all the different comedians that I've seen and all the different actors and who did not wear dresses in Hollywood, like your Clark Gable, your John Wayne, right? Your Brad Pitt, your Matt Damon. And then I started thinking about the Black comedians that never wore a dress when I was growing up. And I could think of three right now. Of course, Dave Chappelle. Of course, we know Cat Williams. But Red Fox
I was
and
gonna
Richard
say him.
Pryor,
Yes.
right? Those were some. I don't remember Pig Beat Markham even coming out like that, back in that day. And Fred Sanford always used to have something in his shows about not being, remember the hand, y'all know what this means. I think
You
he
know,
got like, I think he kind of like, oh no, I ain't going over there, Rollo. He kind of like that.
you know how Red Fox did it. He was going to tell it like it was, and he didn't care who liked it.
Richard Pryor, though, too, was another one. Richard always had plenty of women. Richard couldn't lead a pack of one, but he wasn't getting in no dresses or nothing. Like, I don't remember him being in anything. I was gonna go back and look at a couple of the movie with Gene Wilder and some other ones, but I don't ever remember Richard
I don't
Pryor.
even, if I had to say, I don't even remember Bill Cosby ever being in an episode as a female. I really
You're
don't
right.
recall. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think so.
recall that. That's deep, because that's the first thing that my mind went to, where everybody was talking about the people who had been in dresses. I started to go to think about what the A-lister actors, your Harrison Ford, right? Never in a dress. But I did come up with a couple that I knew, that like your Tom Hanks. I don't know if you remember the show Bosom Buddies back in the day, where he
Yes,
dressed as a woman, and then there was Dustin Hoffman. Didn't he do Tootsie?
yes, he did Tootsie.
And didn't Robin Williams do Mrs. Doubtfire?
Absolutely.
So my question out there to everybody is I kind of saw this as not only I think it's demasculation, where they take away your masculine traits, but then I saw it as something even deeper, because I never saw a Tom Cruise in a dress.
No,
So the
not
Cat
even a
Williams,
Brad. I don't even think of Brad Pitt either.
that's what I said, not
Not even
Brad
a
Pitt.
George Clooney.
not a George Clooney. See, and so this is what I really wanted people to really start thinking. And this was the other thing, Gil. I was like, all the stuff that's coming out right now. Do you think that Ghislaine Maxwell is spilling her guts because she's the only one that was connected to Epstein? Remember the Epstein Weinstein stuff? She's in
Right,
jail for 20 years of life. She the only one other person that would have had the little black book from Epstein. What do you know what I'm saying? So
right.
was there a connection?
It might have been a connection, but listen, she's not going to do anything to jeopardize her her wealth because you never you. Here's the thing: you never know what if she puts herself out there. You never know what she can lose. What deal
Well,
has been put on the table for that?
well, that's what I'm asking you. If you knew that you wasn't going, you had to spend 20 years minimum in jail where she is, right? But if it was something you had that could get you out, would you give it up?
It
Or would you
depends.
be one of those people that say, I'm from the city where they don't do no ratting? Let me just tell you what happened.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm gonna have I'm gonna have to be on the side of her right now. Sometimes it just depends, and sometimes you just got to eat crow and don't say anything.
Really?
And the reason I say that is at the end of the road when she gets out, she's probably set up for the rest of her life. Sometimes people take a fall. I don't know. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I mean, sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut just let it go.
For 20 damn years?
Who who's to say? We went into that topic about women and their families and how they had to eat.
Oh yeah. Look at this stuff
Okay,
being
so guess what?
connected.
Who's to
Okay.
say that she
Okay.
did not,
Yeah.
her family is not being taken care of because
I
she kept
got
her
you.
mouth shut?
I
So we got
got
to look
you
at the whole big
now.
picture. When we talk about women, she's strong.
That resilience and that loyalty it kicked in, and you can kind of see how it crossed. And the thing is that, well, then what would you say about Cassie? Because Cassie came forward. Was this another way of securing her family's future bag, right? Because she turned over supposedly a burner phone as well as notes.
Well, she was all for self. She was all for self. That's the way I look at it.
We look at it as being for self, but she got family too. Don't she?
Yeah,
She have
she do. But I
parents.
mean, sometimes some people are selfish. It's something my daughter even said, not to go off a beaten path. The
No,
difference
that's okay. Let's go
between
off the path.
Yeah, she said, what's the difference between a northern woman and a southern woman? And would you come to defense or would you kill for your kids? A northern woman is supposed to be said, I have to think about that. A southern woman said, I'm going to not only kill him or kill them, I'm going to go get my girls and they're going to help me bury the body. And then we're going to go to the grocery store and get groceries and I'm going to have dinner by 5 o'clock. Now, I don't know where she heard this from, but she just told me that tonight. What would a woman do? What would women do for their kids?
Well, now what that does though is one of the things that I see is that again the dialectic is used to make a point because it splits northern and southern women when in fact women are women.
Yeah, they are.
And there
You
is no splitting of it. I trust and believe. I know that for me, he just probably won't have no dinner, none of that, because I ain't going to jail for nobody. The things that I value, my privacy and my freedom, and they seem to go hand in hand. So I ain't doing jack. He just won't be having no dinner because I ain't burying no bodies nowhere. I don't care for nobody. That's just me. But for those, so for me, I always see that, and that's one thing we're gonna talk about, and maybe in a future broadcast is why does everybody use how everybody and why everybody is using the tactic of the dialectic, one end of the spectrum to have conversations and split everybody. Because notice, in order for people to make a point, she said northern versus southern women. So sometimes people will say, well, men do this, but women do that. You know what I mean? And so in the intercultural development continuum, it talks about different levels of where people are in their agreement about difference, right? Cultural difference. And I would submit to you that everything is a culture because it's about the people, the hard facts, all that kind of stuff. So what I was thinking is one night we probably want to look at why do you think people do that, and because it's a process to make points. But also I'm reading Michelle P. King's book, The Subtle Science of Getting Ahead Without Losing Yourself. So I wonder if Taraji and Mo'Nique will weigh in on that and say, we did everything we were supposed to be, and we still suffered from pay inequity. I mean, I want to know what our audience thinks out there about pay inequity. And why do you think that the climate is a good climate now that people are starting to come forward and really tell their truth about what it means to wear a dress in Hollywood, right? Or not wear a dress in Hollywood, why some people did certain things. Because I actually went and watched some episodes of Designing Women, because you remember when he was talking about the joke that Cedric took
Yeah,
of
yep, yep,
Bimonicious. The dude,
yeah,
everybody was calling him by initials. His first name CJ. Oh, he's saying call me by my initials. That was from an episode of Designing Women. The person, the late Meshack Taylor, was talking
yes.
to Delta Burke and the ladies about, a client or something that he knew or something when he was growing up. And that's where that joke came from. So shout out to Meshack Taylor. He was funny as hell. The other person that really is funny and has some interesting quotes was the late Larry Hagman from
Oh,
Dallas. And
from
I think
Dallas,
that
yeah.
it'd be worth it for us to explore some of the famous quotes, because I think that with Larry Hagman, you learn everything you want to know about white men in America.
Oh yeah, definitely. One of the famous quotes that I tell people all the time is the first Mrs. Ewing don't go away. Remember
Right,
when Sue
right.
Ellen
You
said
remember
that? You
that?
better
Oh
you
my
better know
God.
it. I'ma always have a key to this ranch.
Oh, Sue Ellen. Oh,
And so you sit down and think about it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. There's
everything you want to know about American culture is in the episodes of Dallas. If you go back and one time I think during the pandemic I found it and I binged all 14 episodes and I rewound it. It blew my mind. I was like, damn, because this is what America really longs for: the oil man, the strong symbol of America, the cattle rancher, the strong symbol of America, the daughters of the revolution. Remember the daughters of they used to have them little tea parties and stuff in the cattlemen's
yep.
club, and and everybody was bound down to them. And that literally is what when you hear people say make America great again, those are the pictures that they have in their mind, the time when the Reagans were throwing parties in the White House. This is what they're envisioning. They're envisioning the Dallas the dynasty, particularly Dallas, though, that time frame. You look at the clothes, you look at everything, and that's what people are longing for. All right, this has been a great discussion tonight. We've been all over the place, but I'm kind of glad we talked about pay equity inequities. I'm glad we talked about what Taraji and Mo'Nique talked about this as late as 2022 about that whole Netflix thing. She talked about it as late as that, and people are just now listening. And that's why I said it has something to do with the bodies. Also, with what Cat Williams said, is certain bodies, because Larry Johnson, who was a basketball player, an NBA All-Star, he grandmama. Anybody remember the Converse All-Star commercials? He was dressed up like grandmama, which is a character that looks awfully similar to Tyler Perry's Madea. Look it up, y'all. Go out there and Google
Yep,
grandmama. You can Google it. So Larry is
yep.
retired and stuff like that. But it just shows you that rite of passage. That's what I wanted to say. My late husband, he was a novice screenwriter. And when we were looking at things, he always used to say, they always having black men dress up in a dress. He used to get on his nerves. And so you heard what Dave Chappelle said. He's like, there's no reason for me to even be in a dress, but yet they want me in a dress because I feel like it's a way that, almost like the stuff with Diddy, where he was taping people doing things, male on
hmm
male, male on female, all this kind of stuff. Because now you have control over that person. You have something that you can weaponize, right? You have a video. Used to be pictures. But it was kind of crazy because even I remember Holly Madison just a few weeks ago speaking about why Hugh Hefner didn't want them to wear red lipstick. He said he wanted the girls to look as young and fresh faced as possible.
And that was a man's man.
Look at the images that get portrayed. So you think about it. This is what a man's man does. Bill Cosby's defense was as well. Everybody was doing quaaludes and things that was the culture, right? The whole Playboy time. What were they really recruiting girls for? What were Epstein and Weinstein? What was the connection with Diddy, right? Why did Cassie come forward now? The burner phone, the stuff, what's happening with Ghislaine Maxwell, and finally, what's that connection? Because all this shit is connected.
Right.
It's all ways of controlling people and having power over people in spaces of their life. Because people do anything for money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely, without a doubt. I mean, I'll tell you one thing for, we get off this chat line. I had an opportunity to work at the White House, and
Okay.
the first thing at the White House and the Pentagon. So I'm gonna
Oh
tell you the
wow.
first thing that my director told me was, I need you to see with these, I need you to hear with these, and I need you to keep this shut. And that is 3 words have stuck with me for the last 30 years. Slow to speak.
Well,
And that
he
is the
was
whole
showing you them
thing.
little monkeys, right?
That's right. There you go. There you go. I did. And I use that even, with my children. Hey, slow to speak. Make sure you listening. And
I
you
think
need to
I
be.
think kids today really do believe that, because for those of you out there who know who Scarlett is, I follow her. She said they're from this, what is it, the city where you don't do no cat ratting. Just tell me what happened. Otherwise, you get caught with the So it's silence, and that's that mafia culture. You don't say nothing. It's police culture, and yeah, we
Yeah,
all
yeah.
know
And
anyway.
it's I hate to say it, and I don't want to put it out there, but this is something even as a kid in our household, my
What
grandmother would
happens in
say,
this house
don't,
stays in here.
there you go. Whatever
You don't
happens in this
tell
house,
family business.
nothing. And so these kids grow up with that. And now
Mhm.
they're really starting to, and even if there is something going on in the household, they're not telling. They're not telling.
Yeah, and that's what's scary, because in some cases there needs to be somebody to advocate. I remember posting a story on my TikTok about these brothers that had been boarded up in the house where the parents had been taking advantage of them for years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These crazy people. So sometimes you got to use your mouth. But again, we look at the situation, circumstance that dictates the substance of our actions, just as it did with when Mo'Nique came forward and she said, enough is enough, I've had enough. And now we have Taraji coming through echoing that. And we see Cat Williams coming forward saying it's a lot of shady, shiesty shit, not only going on in the entertainment, in the actresses world, but look what's happening over here with the comedians. And then today I saw something that's like a couple of politicians are being released from their positions for AS or
Mm-hmm.
SA, whatever the hell it is. Anyway, the world is a damn ghetto.
Yeah,
We want to know
it
what your
can be,
people
but
did.
I wanna really add this one point that Cat Williams said before we go. Cat Williams said the truth don't need no motivation.
Okay? Thank you
He
for
said
that,
it
Cat.
don't need no motivation. And then on top of that, not only did he say that, you had Ed Lover that came and confirmed everything that Cat Williams said.
That's what it was. I didn't get the skinny on Ed. What did Ed say?
So Ed was a close friend of Bernie Mac. He confirmed that um, that Steve Harvey was a hater of Bernie Mac. And
Okay.
he tried to go in when Bernie Mac got the role in Ocean 11. He
Hmm.
tried to go backdoor and get the role from up underneath of him.
Yeah, I
See,
thought I heard something
they
about that.
and that's what made Cat Williams. This is what made him angry. You guys want me to come and be a part of your Kings of Comedy when I'm supposed to quote unquote shit on this man? I'm not
Hmm.
gonna do it. And that not only I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna tell the truth behind it.
Yep.
But if you notice, I haven't seen any of them trending and saying anything.
That's why I
See
said
this.
he didn't blink, he didn't stammer, he didn't stutter. And in this day and age, he put it all on tape where everybody can see, at least 20 million people. So he telling the truth. Because that's why I said, dude is telling the truth. Cause ain't nobody, even Ice Cube came and said, you know, I just want to set the record straight. And when I think about the two people in the two parts, this is what I say from a spiritual perspective, Gail. I'm glad we're having this conversation. I probably have to go in and edit the video a little bit, but that's okay. The universe, there's a song, "What God Has For Me Is For Me." That
That's
role
right.
that Cat Williams played as Money Mike, you could see he was telling the truth. Because remember the innuendo when he went in the room and Terry Crews came in the bathroom with him and he said, "I'm
Yeah,
a
and
boy." And he had the vice script. So you know that there was supposed to be innuendo of the R thing taking place, because
yep,
otherwise, why would you have Cat Williams in that scene where he's in the bathroom, using the bathroom? Terry Crews comes in there, closes the door, and Cat Williams says, don't you know I'm a boy?" And then he gets those vice scripts from under the toilet, remember? And he holds
back in
those
the day.
to get
Yes.
out of the bathroom and that's how he got away from Terry Crews. So while they don't say that that's what was going to happen, the innuendo, it was implied there. It was implied throughout the entire scene. And while Ice Cube said he would never do no shit like that in no movie, because that's what he said, he would never have that type scene. It's been innuendo implied in two movies. In The Players Club. Remember in The Players Club?
Yes, in the Player Club.
While
Yep.
you didn't see it, you saw the girl get beat and you heard all the screaming and you neighbor, I have seen it. The innuendo of the R stuff happened in there, just like innuendo happened in the Christmas movie. Now he said, "I don't do no shit like that," but it was implied in the movie. So for somebody like me who does film studies and look at just where they're gonna go over that slippery slope or where they stop, those were two instances where I said they went to a slippery slope and stopped because it was implied, because your brain was supposed to do like what Alfred Hitchcock did in Psycho. You never saw the knife go in. You never
Right.
saw it. But it was implied through the curtain, the way that they filmed it and the way that they edited. You know that Janet Leigh was stabbed in the shower. And that's basically the way that filming happens, is it's supposed to leave your brain open so you can finish the rest of the sentence. And that's what they did in those two movies. Don't play with me. I'm a film person. I'm a writer. I know what I'm talking about. And I could go in there and pull out my stuff from my book and show where this is a tactic that writers use to keep you on the hook. Because basically, your brain can go, you still wonder, and they can make part two. You see what I mean? They don't have to
Right.
show you. But you heard the screaming and all that in the other room, and the dude was like, "Come on, let's get out of here, man. What's going on?" And you saw her having to call an ambulance and stuff. So you know what happened.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's another comment or
That's a
another segment.
whole nother
But I
show.
tell you, that this week I will say it this Cat Williams and him going in the Shay Shay Shack, that, and this is a whole nother segment, that has been the headliner bigger than the fight down in Alabama with the cheers.
Who you telling, the slammer in
Mic
Alabama?
drop on that one.
Okay. And that's our show tonight, y'all. We really appreciate you tuning in and hanging with us again. We thank those of you who are already subscribers. We appreciate your loyalty. If you're not, you need to hit the button, because you never know what we're going to talk about. We don't know what we're going to talk about next week. But again, tune in to Voices Randomish. Like, share, comment, because we want to know what's your frequency. Again, I'm Eldridge Alexander with my host, Gail B. And on that note, we out. Gail, what you got for him? We out. See you
Hey,
next
we
time.
out. That's a mic drop for you.
All right, we done. All right, we should be done. Let me stop the recording. Oh, there we go. Stop stream.